Make a little video on Backfire Group at the moment.
What for?
Oh, just for social media.
No, I don't want it done, thanks.
Oh, I'm doing it.
No, it's our company and I'm asking you not to do it.
Well, I can see it from the road, so...
Yeah, well, can you not film, please?
Well, I will be, I'll also... Call the police for someone with a camera?
Well, yeah, because you've done it to them over there.
Yes. And I got my drone as well, so we'll be sending the drone over to get some drone footage, so...
You're not doing it?
If you're doing 911, not 999, 101, sorry.
999.
999?
Yeah,
what are you going to report? A man with...
Please.
Oh, let me hear this. Man with a camera.
Please. It's harassment.
You've come out and harassed me, I'm not harassing you.
Hi there, and there's just on the industrial estate in Louth, and there's a strange chap walking around filming businesses and says he's sending drones up and taking footage and just, well, being pretty nosy.
The worker quickly contacts the police, describing the auditor as a suspicious person filming local businesses. However, the auditor had already explained what he was doing and was not acting in a secretive or threatening way. Recording in public places is generally lawful, and simply observing or filming a business does not automatically make someone suspicious. The worker also describes the auditor as being nosy, but curiosity alone is not a criminal offense. Situations like this often arise from misunderstandings about public photography and filming rights rather than any actual unlawful behavior. Instead of trying to calmly understand the situation first, the matter is immediately escalated to the police, which can lead to unnecessary use of public resources. The concern raised here is that lawful activity is sometimes treated with suspicion simply because people are unfamiliar with the rules surrounding filming and photography in public spaces.
We've been called about somebody matching your description.
Absolutely, yeah, I'll give him the video. I'm stood there when he called you. I think it's this one that called you, wasn't it?
So what's the crack? What's going on?
Just a bit of videoing today.
Sorry?
Just doing a bit of videoing today.
Okay, what's the purpose of the video?
My purpose, really.
No. What's the purpose of the video?
Sorry? No. My purpose, really. Thank you.
What is the purpose of the video?
Do I have to answer that question?
Well, yeah, because it may be that you're breaking the law by if you...
Doing what? What law do you think I've broken?
Well, we'll start with GDPR rules.
Okay, that's nothing to do with the police. Is it?
Is it not?
No. And it isn't anyway, because I'm in public, I can film anything I can see in public, can't I?
Yeah, you can film in public,
yeah.
But if you're overflying private premises and videoing stuff that's on there, then that becomes a little bit of an issue.
No, incorrect, officer, I'm sorry, you're incorrect.
During the conversation, the officer claims that the auditor is breaking GDPR rules by filming. The auditor quickly responds that GDPR is not intended to stop private individuals from recording in public places. GDPR mainly deals with how organizations, businesses, and authorities collect, store, and process personal data. It is not generally used as a blanket law against public photography or filming by members of the public. This is an area that often causes confusion, especially during disputes involving cameras and recording in public spaces. The criticism here is that the officer appears to rely on legal terms without clearly explaining.
So every aeroplane, hot air balloon, glider goes over, they're not allowed to video, is that what you're saying?
Well, aeroplanes won't be able to pick up as much detail as a drone over the flying some specific premises.
Small aeroplanes.
What is the purpose behind? What interest do you have in filming?
It's mine. I like industrial estates, so I go industrial estates making videos of companies I find interesting. Are you recording? It's flashing. There's a green light flashing.
Yes, it is.
Is that recording?
Flashing red, then I'll be recording.
Right, okay.
The green is not recording, so
right.
What law have I broken?
We don't know, you see, so we don't know that. So, but if you are not recording, that's fine. But you would have, one of your procedures you would have broke if you hadn't told me that.
Why is that?
Because you have to inform me. As well, you mentioned GDPR.
I can film anything I want in public. You've just come back.
No, not you. No, you're filming it as a company. You're an officer working for the law. You have to, via GDPR rules, you have to tell me. Like the sign on the gate there saying they're filming people. GDPR works that way. Do you not understand that GDPR works that way?
Okay. So, what are we going to do about you filming? Because it's clearly causing annoyance to people.
That's not my problem. I'm in the public area filming. I'm not annoying anybody. They're annoying me, to be honest. They're actually annoying me.
Called the police.
And they're annoying me. They come out and annoy me. He did. They annoyed me. I don't report them because I thought, well, just go back to work and leave me to it. So if you think I'm breaking any laws, then please quote the laws I'm breaking. Because I'm not breaking any law here.
What stands out in this exchange is that the auditor ends up telling the officer to simply move on from the situation, something that arguably should not have been necessary if no offence had been identified. Once it becomes clear that no crime is taking place, the expectation is usually that officers either provide advice if needed or disengage professionally. Instead, the interaction appears to continue even after the legal basis for intervention becomes unclear. This creates the impression that the disagreement has shifted away from law and toward personal frustration with the auditor himself. The criticism being raised is that policing should remain focused on actual legal issues rather than personal annoyance or discomfort. When officers stay involved in situations where no offence can be identified, it can give the impression that lawful behaviour is being challenged simply because it is unpopular or irritating to others. School. As the discussion continues, a plane passes overhead, giving the auditor an opportunity to challenge the officer's argument in a simple and direct way. He points to the aircraft and asks whether planes need permission from every property owner they fly over. The question highlights an important point about airspace rules. In general, airspace is regulated through aviation laws and restrictions, not by individual businesses or landowners deciding who may fly overhead. Drones operating within the legal height limits and applicable regulations are usually governed by those same aviation frameworks. The moment exposes the weakness in the idea that a business can automatically control all airspace above its property. The auditor uses the comparison to show that the issue is determined by aviation rules and safety regulations, rather than personal preference or assumption.
You seem a bit annoyed and that you can't get me on anything. That's wrong, isn't it, surely?
It's not the fact that I can't get you on anything, it's just that if you are causing somebody enough annoyance and they're worried about people's private details being published on the internet and what have you, because there are certain things that are visible from or to your drone camera.
Yeah.
And they are rightly concerned that those will be published on the internet.
Absolutely, can be concerned. Put them inside. Because anybody, I can go on that public path and fly my drone. I could have done it secretly. I let them know what I'm doing.
Okay, but from their point of view,
yeah,
can you see why it would cause an annoyance if you are entirely in the right and you are exercising your right as a person to do something that they don't want you to do?
Yeah, that's right.
You refuse to stop when you've been asked, even though it's their premises that are affected by your actions.
Well, they said there, we're highly secret, blah, blah, blah. They're a fragrance company. I'm like, highly secret fragrances? Really? You know, people really build themselves up to be bigger than they are, just to try to stop people exercising their God-given right, legal rights in this country, legal rights in this country, to video anything I can see from a public place.
If a business is dealing with genuinely private or sensitive material, it is generally expected to secure that information properly rather than leave it openly visible to the public. Blaming photographers or drone operators for recording things that can already be seen from public areas often misses the larger issue of how that information is being protected in the first place. The auditor also explains that the drone is being flown at a significant height, around 30 to 50 meters, making it unlikely that detailed personal information or close-up images could realistically be captured. His argument is that the concerns being raised are based more on assumptions and hypothetical scenarios than on any evidence of unlawful activity. The wider criticism in this exchange is that the discussion moves away from actual legal rules and towards speculation about what could happen, even though no clear offence or misuse had been identified.
I can video anything I can see from public place.
Does it not then become an issue because you can't see it from a public place because your drone is going into a private place to take these images?
It's flying over in the airspace which is controlled by the Civil Aviation Authority, and I obey all the laws for flying my drone. Civil Aviation Authority, there's no restrictions flying in this area, on this estate, wherever, so I can fly my drone free will all over this place. I feel you're annoyed. I don't understand. You're not the feelings police. You've got to remember this. You're not the feelings police. You're here to feel.
I'm not the feelings police. I just find it incomprehensible that
But you're like him. It's not up to you to understand what I'm here to do. It's not up to you to understand that, is it? If I'm here and not breaking any law, then basically you need to just walk away and let them know he's not breaking any law. Leave him to it.
When the auditor asks, "Do I have to?" the officer responds by saying it depends on whether he feels the auditor has been involved in antisocial behaviour. That wording immediately raises concerns because legal powers are expected to rely on objective facts and reasonable grounds, not personal feelings. Under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002, officers can require someone to provide their name and address in certain situations linked to antisocial behaviour. However, that power is meant to be based on identifiable behaviour and reasonable suspicion, not simply on an officer's personal opinion or irritation. The concern in this exchange is the use of phrases like "if I feel," which can make the decision sound subjective rather than evidence-based. Police powers are generally expected to be exercised using clear legal standards, and officers are usually required to explain the grounds for their actions in a way that can be objectively justified.
If a delivery is out in the yard waiting to be picked up and people's, their clients' details, addresses and what have you are on display.
Tell me this, officer. Do they have the right to tell me to stop videoing?
I think they've probably got the right to stop you from overflying their premises.
No, you're wrong.
Well,
you're wrong. You're incorrect.
I think they probably do.
I think you're incorrect.
If you look at the contracts when you buy a house, the property you own, and you also own the airspace above it. It doesn't stop at the roof of the house.
Maybe you do. That's all a bit grey, but...
So if you're overflying their property, then that does become a point where...
Right. Can you hear in the sky?
Sorry?
Can you hear in the sky? There's an airplane flying over.
Yes, there is.
So has he asked him if he can fly over his property? He's gone over his property.
This exchange raises concerns about how antisocial behaviour laws can sometimes be interpreted too broadly during public interactions. Simply refusing to comply with a request, especially during a lawful activity, does not automatically amount to antisocial behaviour. In many cases, people are entitled to exercise their legal rights even if others disagree with or dislike what they are doing. Antisocial behaviour laws are generally intended to address conduct involving harassment, intimidation, alarm, distress, or serious disruption to others. The criticism here is that the officer appears to rely on a vague or subjective interpretation of those powers rather than pointing to clear unlawful behaviour. The concern being highlighted is that if legal powers are applied based mainly on personal frustration or disagreement, it risks turning ordinary disputes into enforcement matters without a strong legal foundation. Officers are expected to apply the law consistently and objectively, especially when dealing...
Could have. See, what you're saying is a bit silly. I understand what you're saying. People kind of have this thing, they do own some of it.
Can your drone fly at 20,000
I think
feet?
obviously if they don't want you flying over, like next to their businesses where there's information shown and things like that, I think they're polite, so politely have to stop. Obviously I appreciate you've said it's escalated. If they'd like you to stop, then just want to keep things,
But what about my thing? So what about me? I've come here to make videos and I want to make the video, so what about my thing?
Okay,
What about respect for me?
Just please not get any kind of private information involved in that.
Well, that's not on me though, that's on them. You can't... If they've left private information out...
If you do publish these videos online,
Yep.
can you make sure that the information is unreadable?
I'll do my best if I think it's confidential, but you can't see anything. I'm 30, 40, 50 metres up. I can't even make faces out, you know what I mean? And everybody goes mad about it. It's ridiculous.
What's your name, sir?
I don't get that information out, I'm sorry. Do I need to? Think carefully what you're going to say next. I know there's one answer to this and it begins with N.
Sorry, the answer begins with?
N.
N for?
No. When I said, do I need to?
Well...
No, there's not a well, there's no buts to it. It's either a yes or a no.
It's open to interpretation. It depends, because if I feel that you've been involved in ASP, then yes you do.
ASP?
What's the
ASP?
Police Reform Act.
What's ASP?
Social behaviour.
Antisocial behaviour?
Yes.
I think you'll be on a lawsuit against you if you arrested me for antisocial behaviour, for a man with a camera, then I think you'll be into a...
Suggesting that having a...
I will take you to court. I will take you to court for that.
I'm suggesting, however, that you've been involved in an altercation, either one side or the other. And if I decide that constitutes antisocial behaviour, then I can require you to provide me with your name and address details.
You can, if you think I've committed a crime. But do you think I've committed a crime?
If you've been involved in ASP.
No, if you think I've committed a crime, you can ask me.
If you've been involved in ASP, that's how it works.
If you think I've committed a crime, if you think, that's right, you're thinking I've been involved in ASP, which is a crime, isn't it? So if you think I've committed a crime,
isn't necessarily a crime, but one of the police powers that we have is to request the information from somebody who's been involved in ASB.
Right.
So you've been involved in an argument because you've refused to comply with somebody else's wishes. When, you know,
feelings police again. We're back to the feelings police.